Hi, my name is Sarah Federman. I am an assistant professor at the University of Baltimore at the College of Public Affairs, and I teach negotiation and conflict, ethnic conflict. And I wanted to share something that will help faculty to prepare for the fall, those of us who are online and those of us who aren't, but really to make the most of really where we are in this digital transformation. There's that maybe overused now analogy of trying to repair the plane while you're in flight. I think more now we're in flight and trying to build a spaceship. So a lot of programs are going online, but it's not just to go on enough to go online. We actually have to serve students in a different way. So I just want to make an argument for why you should consider doing online simulations, even if we're in a digital space, and why you actually want to try student-created and student-led simulations, and why you would want to partner maybe with other schools in doing this, and how to join in those of us who are already doing it. So why simulations? We know that to really learn, people have to experience something. Yes, we can intellectually get something, but to have it become part of who we are and how we operate, we usually need an experience to really anchor it in our nervous systems. And simulations can do that. They help us grow. They help us move beyond how we saw things before, right? Because you can go into a program with a really strong belief and then just collect more data to strengthen your belief. But simulations throw you into somebody else's shoes, which creates a different kind of growth. Also, I love simulations because they create spaces for marginalized perspectives. And by this, I mean, for example, our students are more left-leaning, and if someone wants to make a more conservative argument, it's sometimes difficult in the room and they're afraid to be attacked. So by having simulations, you can have people play conservative roles and then nobody has to take ownership of those perspectives, but they get to circulate and people get to think them through together and find where there's merit in views that they originally discarded. And then in the future, hopefully by being in someone else's shoes, you don't just assume that the other party is crazy if they don't agree with you, right? You can understand because you've done it yourself, you've thought through different perspectives. And I'm a narrative scholar, so I love thinking about conflict as a battle of narratives. And Twitter is just such a good exemplification of this. You have narrative, you have counter narrative, you have counter narrative. And so narratives, so using simulations actually helps you understand how those narratives work and how they have power. But it's not just for the classroom. I co-ran a peace dialogue with leaders from across the Sahel at University of McGill. And what we did is we actually, in the middle of the peace dialogue, we ran a simulation because Adel Rubed, he was working with us and he said, I'm just not understanding the jihadists. And so we just did a simulation, and by chance he picked the role of Al-Qaeda and he got to really think through what it's like from their perspective. And he did a wonderful job. So he came out saying, actually, I do understand how they think. Which helps him in his work going forward. So why student-created simulations? So some of you may have done simulations, colleagues may have handed them to you, you may have bought them, which is great. I actually wanted to use student-created simulations in my classroom in Baltimore. I came to the University of Baltimore where our students have so many issues on their hearts, on their minds, affecting families, and I didn't know which to pick, right? What do they want to talk about most? The other is I'm white, and most of our students are students of color. Many have grown up in the inner city, and it seemed like a real wonderful opportunity for me to inverse the classroom and say, you have far more experience than I in ethnic conflict in a very different way. And I stumbled upon this terrific article by Natalia Rieg, which said, why not make students create the simulations, which is what I've been doing. So this is the assignment that I really, I'm just gonna share with you. You can also email me. I'll give you my email at the end. You're welcome to try it out. I actually have students write the background of a simulation of something they're interested in. They design the roles, different parties, then the scenario that the parties are gonna come together in. They create learning objectives. And one of my favorite parts is they assign readings to other students. And those readings can be from all different sources, and hopefully from liberal papers, from conservative papers, from centrists, maybe from a newspaper abroad, right? To really give them a different view on the conflict. And we've had terrifically interesting simulations come up. So let me just move my screen. We've had Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, black hair in the workplace, meaning discrimination of dreads, a baker refusing a wedding cake for a gay couple, and monument removal. So those have worked really well. And this helps students identify the narratives circulating in conflicts of most interest to them and how they're interconnected. Now, I don't just have students create the simulations, because what fun would that be if we don't get to actually try them? So each semester now, I pick the ones that work best both for the topic that I'm teaching and that are just really well constructed. They're really balanced and well researched. And then they come back and they run them with their peers. I love this because our students, so many of them, and I'm sure in many of your programs, either they're in leadership positions already, they will soon be in them when they leave your program. And this is something they can use in their own trainings and with any groups that they're working with in conflict. So like we did in our Sahel Peace Dialogue, we just, at a drop of a hat, just ran one. And I wanted students to really see each other as models, like to see what a great simulation is, to look to each other for mentorship as well as to me. So now we've done some interviews. One of the students who wrote a terrific one, Catherine Zanemirovsky, she's been interviewing students about how it's been going, and we're writing up the findings. So stay tuned for that. But okay, so as I promised, this is also about the digital space. Times are a-changing, right? We can't just sit around in a small classroom in a campus this term, and hopefully we'll return to that. But I want to talk about the advantages of online. We really need to focus on where the gifts are right now. One, I love breakout rooms on Zoom. You can move people around into different groups so easily. You can have them work in pairs, in groups of 4, random groups, groups that you can construct. And those of us who have smaller classrooms or students got a lot of stuff and they want to move around and they bring their iPhone, it ends up taking up a lot of class time. Now, bam, I push a button and they're in a different room. It's fun to have virtual backgrounds. You can see I have this one from the University of Baltimore. So students can put up different backgrounds to reflect any role that they have in the simulation. And I also love that former students can come back from anywhere in the world and run them. So we'll be taking advantage of that this semester for sure. But we've also had this great, another advantage is I've been noodling over with Kathleen Coogan at the Georgetown University how we can get our students to do simulations together, because she also assigns simulations, which I think is terrific, meaning that the students do them, but they also write them. And we have really different student populations, so we thought, how can we bring them together? So here's our plan. This semester, we're going to be giving an award to the best simulation from the last few terms from each program. So each student will get an award. Then we're going to invite the student who did that to run that simulation outside of class hours with our own students. And we're going to make it extra credit. Our students are going to pair up. There'll be a Georgetown student with a University of Baltimore student. And we're going to do 2 of them. One's going to be created by Georgetown students, so likely about international affairs, maybe a peace treaty. And then we'll run something from Baltimore, which might be about monument removal. It might be, discrimination of hair in the workplace, but likely something more domestic. And then we want to make these available. So the students have been doing terrific work, and I think it will really help programs around the country and around the world pick up simulations from different places and run them. There's no reason we can't do this. This helps students get their work out there and their passions out there, and it gives faculty something to grab and run that's really stimulating for their own classes. So right now, Georgetown has agreed to host this. So that's kind of coming soon. I know the Carter School, which is at George Mason University, also has one with more simulations for undergraduates, so do reach out to them as well. But I invite you to give it a try. Why not? This time of disruption creates a lot of opportunities for innovation. So please email me or send me a tweet or DM me in any way. I'd love to hear from you if you want to give it a try. I can send you my syllabus to show you how I do it, but would love to spread the word. Students have really enjoyed it, and I want us all to really have a successful fall, all right, and future. So take care, and I will hopefully catch you all soon.